I call it the search for mentors. It began in, let's see, April 2005. I heard that there was a big speech made by Bill Gates 2 months before. But when he gave this speech, there was that runaway bride. I don't know if you remember that lady who ran away and said, "Oh, I was kidnapped, I was kidnapped." Well, she really ran away. While that was happening, Bill Gates gave this monumental, it shook the nation within some of the halls of power. The state capitals all sent somebody to listen. There were even governors there to hear it. And Gates took the information from a fellow named Dennis Littke. Littke has been working in Providence for about 10 years, focusing on how do you use the 7 ways of learning in the classroom. And he basically came up with that there are exhibitions where the student stands up and talks about what he knows, what he's learned. That standing up and talking is easy for most students. Having to write about it is easy for a very few students, because most students don't really like to write. Portfolios, collecting in some way other artifacts than just test scores. And finally, narratives. Instead of a letter grade, the teacher sits down with each student and explains, okay, this is where you're strong, this is where we can start working more. He built an entire school around this. And his other point was, if students could find their passion, we can teach through that passion. He built an entire school on this knowledge that desire is essential for learning. Starting with that awareness, he just quietly kept working away, making, meeting budgets, doing what normal principals do, but his particular focus was, how can we do this in a way that forces the child to actually learn something rather than just make a grade? And it's a very challenging method, and when I first heard about it, I said, I have to go see this place. I can't believe that it's actually working. And so I went there. You will be getting a DVD that has the 10-minute video on it. I figure, why show it to you? You have to see this stuff 2 or 3 times, the same little short video, because you can't believe these are real students. I set up my camera in the middle of the field, trying to take a picture of the school. I had 4 students walk over to me and just start engaging me. "Oh, are you one of those TV guys?" And they're so used to being studied that I had 6 hours in the classroom, camera rolling. They did an entire presentation on a shoe. You went through the economics, the history, even literature related to how shoes are made. The concept is that one teacher sits through all of the subjects, and I'm trying to compress here something that's taken me 2 years to get a hold of. Why is Littke's method so powerful, and how can we in our school apply some of those things in a reasonable way? And what I would very much like you to do is, after you've read some of the material, is to give me a call. See, someone's so eager, they're doing it now. Later.
I'd like for you to read and give me a call.
Yeah, first read. You know, someone wants to speak to me already about this. The core of the desire is connecting an adult who has an interesting job. And that's why I call this segment the search for mentors. I've decided to walk around carrying this placard. If you can't see it, it says,
I use used computers. And
our school is looking for used computers, and I think you're going to be a good mentor. Each of you is getting one of these pages. Again, it has not been cut. Well, you guys got some of the cut ones. I passed out, or I will, here we are. I will pass out a sheet that has 2 of them on it. once again, I'm going to ask you to invest yourself in this sheet of paper by getting some scissors at home and cutting it. And then you're going to find two people. You're going to invite them, because this is an invitation. This is saying, you've been identified as a mentor. With this sheet, you have the power of inviting that person to call Mr. Jett, and he'll figure out a time to bring the person in. The next stage is that that person will be videotaped when they come to the school. I mean, if they don't want to be videotaped, that's fine. We can not videotape them. But the value comes when someone is videotaped and 2 weeks later, you ask the kids, okay, how does this math problem relate to what Mr. Johnson? Who's Mr. Johnson? Okay, well, let's get out the video and look at what he did, what he said. And so, again, it's getting some sort of connection between the passion, because Mr. Johnson will appeal to some of the students. There might be another mentor that appeals to another. And the skill of the teacher now turns into a facilitator who's being able to say, okay, the Johnson kids are over there, the Farid kids are over here. When Mr. Farid came in and talked about his carpet business, these kids were excited. Okay, how can I relate my curriculum through that carpet business? There's a small enough group here, so you'll be able to get a copy of this. Littke talks about, I mean, this is a truly great writer, what the real goals of education are, and he lists through without mentioning curriculum or math scores or SAT. It's wonderful. Becoming lifelong learners, being passionate, creative, persevering, having integrity and self-respect. I mean, the list goes on and you'll be able to read it. But imagine having that as your curriculum goal rather than, well, we're going to aim at having 31% of our students meet the readability goal. He starts with a different attitude, and I think you can have it as an additional attitude. I think that's what he's sort of saying. The hunt for mentors is therefore, if I've communicated clearly, I'm out there looking for mentors. I hope you will join me in networking with people that you know. I'm going to these networking places. Have you ever been to one of these places? They're handing out cards. Hi, I'm into real estate. How about you? You have all these realtors talking to each other. Well, everybody knows somebody who has a computer. And if we time it right, we'll find out when they're replacing that computer. And that will be good for our school. The second question is, would you be interested in coming to our school and sharing what you do for a living? So thank you very much for your time. I'm going to be handing you little packets before you leave. But if you'd like to ask me any questions, that's the phone number. And, well, we can continue with the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Very good.
I think you'll be around close to the end, too, if you wanted to engage.